Thank you, and thanks for the invite. And it's wonderful to see so many people here. As a little bit like Min, I've got no notes, so sometimes I'm not actually sure what's going to come out. This is our 7th, is it? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Look, I'm born in Nambour, lived in Udlo all my life. What am I talking about? Grew up in Udlo, went to Nambour High School, was a prefect here, which was quite surprising for a lot of people, including my parents. But love the Sunshine Coast and love living on the Sunshine Coast. Now, 40 years I've lived down at Watala, so people go, what would you know about the hinterland? As I said, grew up in Udlo, Robinson Road, Udlo. My dad put the road in 1949. He cut the road in himself, hence the name Robinson. Took 40-something years for that road to get bitumened. Every 6 weeks he would be whinging to in those days the councils were volunteers, and be getting the road graded. It was 15 years after he passed away that actually the thing got bitumened. So I actually know what it's like to live in the hinterland and grow up in the hinterland, and I want to be a mayor for the Sunshine Coast. I'm not going to go over what Rosanna and Min have spoken about, because we've been doing this for 7 weeks, seven trips, and I totally agree with most of what they say. I don't totally agree with everything Jason said, because Jason's been in the council for 12 years, and I think sometimes if you do what you always do, you're going to get what you always get. All of a sudden, he's got an interest in the hinterland. So, why vote for me? I guess I've got real business experience. The last 35 years I've been managing other people's money successfully, paying all the bills, managing the money. I've had big groups of people work for me, and the last 14 years I've been at the Alex Surf Club, which when I got there, slight culture problem, had debt, had a bit of a profile problem. I see it a little bit like the council. 14 years later, pay the debt off, the place is in good shape, the culture's good, their business is good, they're performing well on the beach, everyone's rowing the boat in the same direction. And that's what you need for a mayor, that someone can actually make cultural change. I've made cultural change in a lot of places I've been to. The Sunshine Coast Falcons is another one. But what I really have is a connection with the community and sport. As I said, I've been here for a long time. You can check my website to see what I've actually done in the community. I'm not going to beat my chest about what I've done. I guess one thing I would say, over the last 35 years, I've probably raised over $3 million to different charities in the Sunshine Coast. And I guess that's not because I'm overly smart, it's because I've got a good network and I was in the right position at the right time. The other thing, I've got a real will to listen to the community. I guess since I've been doing this the last few weeks, everywhere I've gone, I've heard that the council aren't listening. They're just doing. I think Rosanna touched on that as well. I get here tonight, I'm talking to a gentleman from the showgrounds, and they made all these improvements in the showgrounds, but didn't actually listen to anyone and get advice from the people, from the volunteers that give their time every day. They didn't get any advice, they just went off and did it. Now I think I'm getting that everywhere I go. So it needs to be a cultural change. And I guess the thing I'd like to do is bring in an advisory board of the mayor, if I was lucky enough to be elected, that's actually made up of an environmentalist, police, retired economist, etc., that can actually challenge the mayor and the council on the decisions they're making, which I think would also embrace all the volunteers. We've got so much knowledge in this community that I think the council at times need to listen to. I'm going to cut this pretty short, but I guess what I'm saying is I want to be a mayor that drives around and listens to people. I'll go to every division and have a meet the mayor day. So sit down, it might be one day, it might be two. You can tell me what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. And I guess the other thing I'd say, without making a whole lot of promises, if you buy a business, the first thing you do is I need to look at the finances. We can't make any decisions on finances until we have a really good look at it and a good audit of where the council stands. This isn't, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a a popularity contest. This is a contest that's someone that can lead the council. It's not a beauty contest. I know I wouldn't be in it. This face is determined. I know it's not the greatest face you've ever seen, but I've been successful, and what I'll do is I'll make sure the state government and the federal government, and we all move in one direction together. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ashley.